Welcome back to Room 1-on-1 from the Homeboys. It's our second guest of the week, and it's a look beyond the weekend to our first European adventure of the season. And we're hosting a club that we haven't seen in Glasgow in quite a while. Celtic have been drawn to host former Czechoslovakian and Slovakian powerhouses Slovan Bratislava on the opening day of the new Champions League setup. Now, a wee bit of history first. Obviously, playing out of Bratislava in the National Football Stadium, the Tehene Pol Stadium, I'll be corrected in a second, in the Slovak Superliga. Slovan have had many names in their history, but determining on the current name of Sportový klub Slovan Bratislava since 1990. They won the old Czechoslovakian League, First League, on 8 occasions, and the Czechoslovakian Cup 5 times. They've also won the first Slovak National League in 87-88. They have since won the Slovak League a record 22 times, 8 times before 1993 and 14 times since. They've won the Slovak Cup again, a record 17 times, and have won the Super Cup an equal 4 times with Užite. However, most impressive was 1968-69. The team won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, beating Barcelona 3-2 in Basel, Switzerland, beating Dunfermline 2-1 on aggregate in the semi-final. Now, back to the point. To help me talk about the Slovakian champions, I am delighted to welcome Michal Nespala to the show. Michal, how are you?
Thank you very much, Scott, for the introduction. Also for the introduction of our team. I'm really impressed. I don't know what to add because you summarized it really well. So I can just say that I'm a supporter of Slovan. I have been supporting Slovan for almost 32 years. So I am 30-year-old guy, let's say. I was born in Bratislava in 1984. And to this club and to this let's say mentality, I was shown by my father and also by my grandfather. We used to visit the old stadium because this current stadium, it's the modern one, it's the rebuilt one, refurbished, and it's not as was the former old one called, as you mentioned, Tehene Pole, or you can say Brickfield also.
Good man.
All in German, Ziegelfeld. But okay, so the old stadium was built in 1939 or 1940, and we've been playing there, or we played there for almost 70 years. And after that time, we had to move. We have to go to the exile to went across the street to our rival Inter Bratislava. Inter Bratislava is also it used to be a Bratislava team, but now they are playing the 4th league, and they are trying to promote to go to higher league. So we were there for 10 years, and since 2019 we returned in March. We returned to Tehene Pole, and it's our home stadium, as you mentioned. Somebody calls it National Football Stadium, but actually it's in the ownership of our owner, of Mr. Knotlik. Okay. So it's not really a state stadium because the state also paid a donation, but didn't buy it. It was planned that the Slovak Republic, will buy the stadium, but it never happened, or it doesn't happen so far. So as I said, that I'm really a passionate fan and also a big fan of Slovan. Unfortunately, my wife is not here. She will confirm it to you, because sometimes she says that I am more in love with Slovan than with her.
So. Good man. I've picked the perfect man then. Outstanding. Right. So, Michal, I've got 2 traditions on the show. Generally, the first one is for my new guest to introduce himself, and you have done excellently well there. I'm going to ask you one question first, right? So, just in case anybody's watching, Slovan Bratislava jersey is made by Adidas, yet you've got Nike on the front.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Because Nike is a company that sponsors the league. Is that correct?
Well, I wouldn't say that Nike is the sponsor because our league, our Slovak league, is played with the Adidas balls.
Yeah.
So maybe formerly it was sponsored, or our national team was supported by Nike with the jersey, but we changed the jersey and we went to the mark Macron. It's an Italian mark. Maybe
yeah. But I'm talking about the Nike on your jersey on the front.
Yeah.
The sponsor.
So I would say the ball supporter or the supporter of the league is Adidas. I would say, or also we can say that different teams have different sponsors, and so.
Right. Okay, sound right. Okay, like I say, so the second tradition is when we meet early in the season, we have a wee look back at last season, just so how we got to this point. So like I say, off we go, right? So Vladimir Weiss, no, not that one. We'll come to him. The legendary Slovak manager took his place as manager for the third season on the bounce. This is currently his second period as manager after a year in 2011-12. At the same time, he was coach of the Slovakian senior team. He's overseen a championship in each season, making it 4 in a row for Slovan at this point. So league-wise, another fantastic season. Despite a bumpy start, dropping points in 3 of the first 5 matches, Slovan would top the regular season when the 12 teams play each other twice, with 22 games played, 11 wins, 3 draws and only 1 defeat. 16 points ahead of Žilina before splitting like the SPFL Premiership and then playing each other in the championship round a further 2 times, meaning that their 23 wins, 4 draws, 5 defeats would see them win the league by 15 points over rivals Dunajska Steda. That means again Slovan would enter the Champions League first qualifying round this season. In the Slovak Cup, not as happy. Away wins over Svati Jur, Sered, Slovan Galanta set up a round of 16 tie with Žilina. A 1-0 win set up a quarter-final tie against Podobrezova in Bratislava. Despite taking the lead, they ended up going down 3-1 with 2 late goals winning the tie. Now, the big one. In Europe, the team again entered the Champions League in July, defeating Luxembourg side Swift Esperanza 3-1 on aggregate.
It was the previous season with Swift Esperanza, but this season we were playing.
No. This is last season I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm just doing a wee over so we can.
Okay,
so that was.
I'm sorry.
And then no problem. And then next up was Zaninska Mostar of Bosnia, a 3-2 aggregate win, set up a third round tie with Maccabi Haifa of Israel. A 2-1 home defeat was followed by a 3-1 away defeat, and now you were in the Europa League playoffs. Paired with Aris Limassol, Slovan would win the home tie 2-1 before going down 6-2 in Cyprus, now entering the group stages of the Conference League. In your group last season, you were paired with Lille, Slovenians Olimpia Ljubljana, and KL of the Faroe Isles. From the 6 games, 2 wins over the Faroe Isles teams, 2-1, plus an away win in Slovenia and an impressive 1 each draw at home with Lille meant that Slovan went through in second place in the group with qualification already secured before the final match with Ljubljana, and that was a 2-1 defeat. As a reward, Slovan were drawn with Austrians Sturm Graz. A 4-1 away defeat was followed by a 1-0 home defeat, and the European adventures were over for the season. So, Michal, what is your summary? What is your memory of last season? A few European letdowns. However, the conference group was pretty positive, yeah?
Yeah, as you mentioned, our coach, Vladimir Weiss, he came to the club in 2021 because he has a really good familiar relationship with our owner, with Mr. Motrik, and they made a cooperation also earlier. Maybe you remember the year 2005. Artmedia Petržalka played against Celtic.
I remember.
Yeah. You remember the 4 goals from Juraj Halenar I was actually I was at the time at the stadium because Slovan unfortunately fell down to the second league.
Right.
And Petržalka used the opportunity to play at the stadium at the old Tehelné pole, and I was on the match, seeing 4 amazing goals from Juraj Halenar, and the next and in the away game, I think that you won 4-0, and it was or 4-0, and we were really frightening, or the supporters of Petržalka were really scared of the next goal because it will go to the extra time or penalty. So it was really a surprise. But at the time we had a Slovak player, Stanislav Varga. He was a defenseman in the center back. He was also playing with Bobo Balde. I think Bobo Balde was the other center back.
Yeah.
So as
Good
you see,
memory.
some memories, but frankly speaking, I'm living in Petržalka. Petržalka is a part of the Bratislava, on the right side of Danube River, because it is situated on Danube River. And however, I am from Petržalka. I was never a big fan of Petržalka, because Petržalka was a club which was established or managed or donated by our current owner, Mr. Kmotrik.
Right,
and he built this club. They were previously they were in the second league, but then they promoted. He supported with a lot of money, a lot of financials. So they also had the opportunity to play in the main Champions League. It was the season, I think, 2007-8. I'm not sure which season it was, but Petržalka also played the main Champions League.
That's right.
Yeah. And but let's come back to Slovan. So I would say, hey, I'm speaking a little bit more. So
love
it. Okay, so the last season was a really good season for us because, as you mentioned, we won with 15 points ahead of our opponent. And as you mentioned, we have the main stage, or the main part of the season. It's 22 games, and there's also let's say a playoff. It's six opponents, 6 from the above 6 and the below 6. The table is divided into 2 groups, six teams in each group, and then you played against 5 opponents in the group, 1 home, 1 away. So in this playoff round, in the 4th round we secured our championship title. Yeah. So the next 5 or 6 rounds, it was just okay. Our players were not so concentrated because, as you mentioned, till the playoff we only had 1 defeat, and I think it was from Dunajská Streda, or I'm not sure. I don't remember so good who was it, but I think that Dunajská Streda was it. And and then also we lost against Trnava, we lost against Podbrezova, and so on. So
yeah, the team were partying. The Cuban cigars were out. Just to follow up, Scotland has a very similar to yourselves. However, we play 3 rounds of games, and then we split 6 and 6. But we only play each other once after the split. So we play another 5 games. But it's the same thing. It's the same, like the championship round and the relegation round. Okay, so last season was seen as a success then. Let's look at this season so far. And we'll start with the transfers. Okay, so if you bear with me here, I'll go through all the transfers, right? So the outs this summer: Croatian-born Canadian international goalkeeper Milan Borjan returned to Crvena Zvezda and subsequently headed to Saudi Arabia. Jaba Kankava, the Georgian midfielder, finished his contract and departed. as did Richard Krizan, Spiros Risvanis, and Jaromir Jamal. Finally, Filip Lichi, the Slovakian under-21 cap, headed out for another loan, this time to Dukla Prague for the season. So ins. First up, Ivan Spionic returned from a loan in Turkey. Centre-back Simon Vjot returned from a loan at Fortuna Sittard in the Eredivisie. And Adler da Silva returned from his loan at Stal Gižov in Poland. Despite the Brazilian heritage, da Silva represents Switzerland. Now, the major ones. Marko Tolic, a 28-year-old attacking midfielder from Croatia, was signed from Dinamo Zagreb after a fantastic loan spell last season where he scored 13 goals and 5 assists. The fee was undisclosed, but it's said to be around €1 million. Julius Sozak, a 29-year-old Slovakian defensive midfielder, returned to his homeland for around €500,000 after impressing in the games versus the club for Aris Limassol last season. David Strelec, the 20-year-old Slovakian international who just scored just this past week, rejoined the side from Spezia on loan last season and made the return permanent in the summer, again for around €1 million. Dominic Takak, a 25-year-old goalkeeper, was signed from Spartak Trnava. Ukrainian midfielder Danilo Inatenko was picked up from Bordeaux after their famous troubles on a free transfer. Now, Robert Mack, the 81 times capped Slovakian midfielder, returned to his boyhood club after leaving Sydney FC after scoring the winning goal in the Australian Cup final. Kazakhstan right back Jurav Medvedev returned to the club also from a season at Sochi. Now, 20-year-old midfielder Artur Gaidos was picked up from AC Trenčín and is a massive hope for both the club and the country's future. Bosnian midfielder Alan Mustafic, a 25-year-old, was signed for a third time for this club, this time from OB Odense in Denmark. And French 22-year-old striker Jesse Metsoko was picked up from Czech side Victoria Pilsen, on loan, the striker of Togolese descent. Now, you guys are now 5 league games into the season, 1 cup game, but more pertinently, you're 8 games into your European campaign. Now, so I'm presuming you've seen all these guys. For me, Tolic looks like a superstar, looks like an absolute superstar. He's already been scoring goals in Europe. Robert Mack, I'm reading that his signing was a demand from the coach himself and the player wanted to come back. He's had quite a career. He started his career in England before moving to Germany, Greece, Russia, Turkey, Hungary, Australia before running home. He was for my listeners, he was part of the Fenerbahce side who played Celtic in the Champions League after disposing us. But he signed later that year. But then he played against Celtic twice the following season, coming off the bench in both games. Also, Strelec looks like a wonderfully talented football player. His feet look fast. He looks like. But I want you to start off by telling me about Gaidos. Everything I'm reading about him, everything I'm looking at him, this guy's the real deal. So I know I've said quite a lot. All your new guys, tell us your opinion.
Okay, so I would start. We can start with Artur Gaidos. Artur Gaidos is an attacking midfield of our under-21 national team. So he also scored 2 goals because we played a qualification. I think we played against Belarus and then we played against Hungary. It was only a friendly match, but he scored a goal. So he's really talented. As I said, he's a playmaker. I would say that Artur Gaidos will take the role of Marko Tolic for the domestic games for our league,
right?
Because he's talented, but he's young, and Marko Tolic will be the first choice for the playmaker. We used to have a perfect guy. Maybe you heard about him because he's now playing for Watford. for the second Premiership, or I don't know.
Championship.
It's Georgi Chakvetadze, and he was really a player fun to watch because he was really agile. He was fast. He could do a lot of dribblings, but okay. On the other side, he had no so much points. Assist he had, but on the other hand, he didn't score a lot of goals. But comparing to Marko Tolic, it's a little bit a different type of a player because Tolic is higher. He's not so fast, but he has amazing one-on-one skills or one-on-two skills.
Yeah.
He has a special move, and I didn't see any defender who could resist this move. Maybe you will see on next week this move, because all the defenders, they are looking. Oh, and we are calling with my friends. We are calling Marko Tolic that he's not a football player, but futsal. When you play indoor football, futsal, we call him a futsal player. So because the tricks he does during the match, it's amazing. He has a really good shot from a short distance or the middle distance, I would say, because you saw one goal he shot in the box, from the box, and one outside the box, and also Tigran Barsegian. He's I would say our leader in the offensive part of the field. He's I don't know. I'm not sure if he's still playing for the Armenian national team, but he has amazing left foot, and he also went because of the coach of Vladimir Weiss, because he used to has him in Kairat Almaty. It's in Kazakhstan, or I don't know which country. So he knew him, and he called him here to Slovan, and this is his, I think, third season, I would say. So, but let's get back to the transfers. So Artur Gajdoš, I'm really looking forward to seeing him on the pitch because he's really talented. He has also a really good shot from the middle distance, I would say. Danilo Ignatenko, which came from on the last day of the potential transfer period, because it was closed on 3rd September, as I remember.
Right. Okay.
And Artur Gajdoš and also Danilo Ignatenko, he should be let's say a defensive midfield or the central midfield. He played not yesterday, but on Tuesday we played a Slovnaft Cup match. It's our national cup match against the opponent from the 6th league in Nitra, Nitra. And Danilo, I think that he was playing really, really good, really well, because he didn't play a football match for 4 months or something like that, because he ended in Bordeaux and he was trying to find a job. He was trying to find a club. And as you mentioned, Robert Mak, he's, I will not say a former national team player, because he's still in the squad, but he had some conflict with the national coach, the Italian Francesco Calzona, because he invited him for a friendly match, but he didn't allow him to play, and he was flying from Sydney. I don't know, and he was frustrated, and he put it in the newspaper, in the press, and there was the fire on the roof for Calzona, for the national coach, and he said, if I will be the national team coach, you will not have a chance to be a member of the squad again. So it's really a pity, because he scored a really nice goal. Maybe you saw it against Apoel Nicosia, a really nice shot. It was perfect, and he I would say that in the puzzle of our or the puzzle of the squad, he really passed. So it's really good that he came back to Slovan, because as he was younger, he used to play for the younger teams of Slovan, and then he went abroad, as you mentioned, Germany, England, and so on. He used to play also for Manchester City Academy, together with Vladimir Weiss, the junior. So So Robo, I'm really looking forward because I think that our squad, it's let's say a little bit older than the squad of Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more experienced. Maybe we are a little bit more sensitive on the speed of the players, of the eligibility to fast counter attacks and so on. But you can compare it with the Danish team, with the Michelin. They were
Mm-hmm.
really strong, they were really fast, and we were able tactically to let's say to defend and to be to defend very well and to go to beat them. So but it was the tactics, and we were using our strengths, and we were trying to minimize our weaknesses, but they were really fast. They have really good players, so it was a really tough match. So as I said, we have a little bit older, or in the average a little bit older players, but experienced national team players or former national team players.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, well, maybe I can tell you, maybe you will use it and you will call Brandon Rogers. Hey, listen, Brandon, I know what to use against Sloan, but we were expecting from our management that that they will also focus on somebody for the defense, because on the left back we let's say we changed the position of Sharani Zuberu. He's a young guy. He used to play as a forward, attacking forward. Then he used to play in the midfield, and now he's playing, or he was playing for the left defense on the
Right.
left
Okay.
side. But he's really fast. He's not so technically equipped, just like Tolic, but he's really fast, and he can jump. Really high. So sometimes we call him that he's when you are attending a decathlon on the Olympics, decathlon. So he can jump, he can run, but he's not so good with the ball. But okay, so I will not reveal anything, but we were expecting that the management will bring somebody more experienced for the Champions League, and we have some negotiation with one center back from Ferencváros Budapest, but Ferencváros, they insisted on 3 million euro for the transfer, and we were not able to pay 3 million, but only 2 million. So unfortunately, or fortunately, we'll play with our current defense line, and we will see how successful we will be.
That's excellent. That's really good. Right. So we'll kind of move on and look at the rest of the squad. Now, you just spoke about a guy there. You spoke about the Armenian winger. So how do you pronounce his? I've got Barsegian.
Tigran Barsegian. Yes.
Barsegian. I was close. I was very close. Barsegian.
Yeah.
Right. So he's a 30-year-old Armenian winger. He's been at the club for, as you say, 3 seasons now. He's scored 33 goals in 116 games with 23 assists. Now, that's mega impressive. The amount of yellow cards he gets seems to be a bit mad as well. He seems to get a lot of yellow cards. The next up who caught my eye would be 111 times capped or 12 times capped Slovakian midfielder Juraj Kuka. He famously played in the Serie A for Genoa, for Parma, for AC Milan, and also for Trabzonspor in Turkey. Before he's moved back home, he played with Watford, that's correct, eh? Yeah, just as you said. He's 37-year-old, and he's represented the country at the 2010 World Cup, at the Euro 2016, Euro 2020, and 2024. He missed the recent match with Estonia, but both he and David Strelec played in the 2-0 win over Lithuania, with Strelec scoring. Next up, Kevin Wimmer, the 31-year-old Austrian former Spurs centre-back, played in Austria for Lask, then in the Bundesliga with Cologne, and I moved to Spurs in 2015 before a spell in Stoke, loans back in Germany and Belgium before heading back to Rapid and subsequently Slovan. And finally, the name that stands out to me, and to be honest, from the highlights, he still looks a very important player, is the aforementioned Vladimir Weiss, the young one. So the former Man City youth player and Rangers loanee, he's played in England with Man City and Bolton, played in Scotland with Rangers, played in La Liga with Espanyol, played in the Serie A for Pescara, the Greek Super League with Olympiacos, before a spell in Qatar, before returning back to Slovan in 2019, where he subsequently stayed and been made club captain at 34. So there's some of the guys I think their names stood out to me. Tell us about them that you've not spoken about already. But anybody else who you think that we'll be impressed with?
Well, as you mentioned, so maybe you forgot to name Guram Kashia. He's a Georgian captain. He's still playing for the national team. He's really experienced. Okay, he's a little bit, because he's also the third or the fourth season for Guram here in Slovan. But as we see him on the pitch, he's really sensitive on the speed of the opponents, because he has 38 or 37 years or 35. Okay, but he sees the pitch. He sees the pitch. He's really perfectly tactically prepared, and also he has a lot of experiences. He uses the experiences. He knows how to, or he predicts the move of the opponents. So he's really a good center back. And we didn't also mention our right, let's say, Speedy Gonzalez, Cesar Blackman. He's a guy from which country? From
Panama.
From Panama. Hey, he's from Panama. He came to Slovan 1 season or 2 seasons ago from Dunajská Streda, because his contract ended there, and we just persuaded him to come here to be successful. And as you mentioned, our hero, okay, we have several heroes this qualifying season, but the hero is in the goal. In the goal. It's our goalie, Dominik Takac. It was really a strange transfer, let's say, because it's not usual that, for example, that you are transferring players with the Glasgow Rangers. It's not so usual.
Yeah. None at all.
Yeah, this guy is a Slovak, as you mentioned, guy, and he came from Spartak Trnava because he didn't want to prolong the contract in Spartak, so he waited till the contract ends, and then okay. Frankly speaking, he was trying to go abroad to find a club somewhere abroad. Slovan was also trying to find the goalie, because Milan Borjan, he was a good goalie. He had the ability to catch a big chances, but on the other hand, he had also the ability to make a stupid mistake, something like that. So he was not so stable, I would say. But he was a really beloved player for the fans, because he has a big heart, and he was a famous player. So, but he was really expensive, because as you mentioned, he came for a loan from Crvena Zvezda, but half of the salary was Zvezda paying, and the other half was we paying for him.
Okay.
So we decided for Dominik Takac, and as you saw, he is fantastic when he is catching on the line. He is fantastic. He has some small problems with playing with his foot, but it's not so horrible, just like his former manager, Mr. Gasparik, said. But it's his problem, not our problem, because they were jealous that he chose Slovan. All the fans from Spartak were jealous, were really upset, and they couldn't imagine it. But okay, he's our hero. He made some incredible saves, and we will see what will he perform next week. So and as you mentioned, Vladimir Weiss, it's our captain. he's he has also a big heart, and and he is always really emotionally emotionally affected by the game. So he's really just like, he's not like a phlegmatic guy, but he's really emotional. So it doesn't mean that you will hunt him on the pitch and trying to foul him and then waiting for his reaction. But okay, I can tell you that he had a serious problems with his ankle, I would say, the last season, and he is determined, and he said that this season is his last season playing
Right,
on the
okay.
playing on the professional level. And we can also say that that we are, let's say, writing a history or recording a history, because we have a special let's say online provider company called Voyo, and they are preparing a showcast or a series about Slovan. In the past, they made a series about Spartak Trnava and also Žilina, and now it's our turn. And they are preparing a documentary series about Slovan. And this season, yes, it's amazing, because maybe we didn't say it, but it's our first appearance in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past, there were three other Slovak teams. It was MŠK Žilina, Artmedia Petržalka, as I mentioned, and FC Košice in the east of Slovakia.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I was hoping, because when manager Mr. Weiss came to Slovan, that he said that his dream is to bring some popular team or one of the biggest European teams to Tehel So, and we will face Manchester City. We will play against you. We will play against Bayern Munich, and AC Milan will come to Tehel So it's amazing, and we are living our dream now, I would say.
Brilliant. That's great. Great. Right. Okay, mate. We'll start looking at this season so far. Right. So, as I said earlier on, you guys are 5 games into the league. You had an opening day win, a 1-0 away win over Kamarno, followed by a 2-0 narrow wins at home of Probevkia and Kosice, 1-0 and 2-1. Then you had that 2-0 win over Dukla Banska. And the last league game before the cup win over Nitra that you spoke about was a 5-0 battering at home to Žilina.
Yes.
Now, you played Dunajska Steda this weekend, but as you say, it might not happen. However, the big games is the European games. So let's look at that. In the first qualifying round, you were drawn with Macedonian side Struga. A 4-2 home win set up a nice 2-1 away victory, so 6-2 in aggregate. Next was Celje of Slovenia. A 1-1 away draw was suitably sorted, as an early red card for the visitors in Bratislava saw Slovan run out 5-0 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. You were back at home the next round, a great 2-0 win over Apple with 2 late goals, meaning a 0-0 return match in Slovan saw Slovan through to the playoff round. Drawn with Danish cracks, Midtjylland was tough. A 1-1 draw in Denmark set up a make-or-break tie. Despite taking the lead, they were pulled back to 2-1 after 50 minutes, but an 82nd minute equaliser was followed by an 86-minute winner in qualification to the Champions League groups, or Champions League proper, for the first time ever, and a first European Cup non-qualifying match since 1975. Now, I've had a look, I've watched all. I have to say, your club's YouTube site page is amazing, because I watched every game today. Every game, I watched all the highlights. Now, obviously, that 5-0 defeat against Žilina sticks in the throat a wee bit, because I think it was just a bad day, to be honest. But the Apple, the 2-0 win over Apple was impressive. And then obviously that, I think, right, you can correct me here, I think in the game in Denmark, you rode your luck a bit. It was a wee bit, but the way he's won that tie 3-2 was amazing, absolutely amazing. So how do you think you've looked? Are you have they overachieved in your opinion, or have they kind of done what you expected?
No, as I mentioned before the qualifying rounds, our management set the main goal. The main goal is to qualify to one of the three European
Right.
European competitions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for the last 3 years, as you mentioned, there was the Conference League, and this year's target was also to get the or to be the champion in the Slovak League and
Mm-hmm.
to go at least to the European League. But we were dreaming, but we were not saying loudly about the Champions League. But we were dreaming, and as we were going through the pre-rounds or the qualifying rounds,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the first round we were ahead 2-0, and then
That's right.
our opponent they scored 2 goals. We were a little bit scared. Oh my God, it's not possible that this Macedonian team will cause us any problem or something like that. But Juraj Kucka scored 2 nice headers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, for us, we call him Robocop. Maybe you know the movie of the
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the man with robotics, with the man, uh, together with the robot. So it's he can we can also say that he's our Highlander because he will play eternal, I would say. But he is he's the biggest professional in the squad, I would say. Also, a lot of players say that
Mhm.
he's really strict on his health, on his nutrition, on his what he's eating, and so on. He always do a lot of extra gym hours. He spent a lot of
Mhm.
extra hours in the gym. He's doing the workout and so on. He's really taking care a lot of himself. He's the biggest professional.
Mhm.
So it was the first round. In the second round, I was in Celje, and I was also
Right.
in Cyprus. I was in Celje. It was a good opponent, and the match was influenced by the early red card because
Mhm.
they have chances. Our goalie made a little bit mistake. We uh, we uh, we we were down by 1 goal because we got the opponent scored. So and then fortunately David Strelec made the equalizer 10 minutes after, I would say. Then at the 30 minutes came the send off of Kyriakos Savidis.
That's
He's
right.
a
Yeah.
Greek player, and then we had to be strong, and we have to defend. And at the end of the match, Dominik Takac made 2 really fantastic saves, and he gave us the opportunity to go through or to play against Celje. And okay, we won 5-0, 5-0. But on the other hand, I would say that there was also a red card because David Strelec was running on the goalie,
That's
and
right.
the
Yeah.
opponent, he kicked him off. He fouled him. He was sent off, and after that, Marko Tolic scored the goal from the free kick. So
Yeah.
it was 1-0, and then okay, the I would say that the timeline of the match was playing for us. We were really successful. A lot of nice goals. You saw maybe the goal from Tigran Barsegian, a really nice goal
Mhm.
from the distance. So it was really a perfect match. Very good emotions at the stadium or on the stadium, and then we knew that we will face Apoel, and we also played with Apoel in 2010 or 2011. After defeat, or after we were defeated by Apoel, Mr. Weiss came on the bench, and we were able to qualify against AS Roma. So we
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
previously played European League, UEFA League, or European League. But okay, let's get back. So Apoel was a strong opponent. In Bratislava, they were not playing so well. They changed the coach after the end of the previous season.
Right.
A Spanish guy came on the bench from the opponent team from Cyprus League, and this Spanish guy, I would say, he was more speaking about how to play, just like to learn the players how to play on the pitch. Just if you get it. So at home we won 2-0, but I was in Cyprus. There was a really I would say a really loud atmosphere. It was really hot outside, 35 degrees. Loud atmosphere, a lot of fans, and they started with the long balls into our box, and it was their strategy to just go near the box and put a long ball into the box, and they were only not shooting on the goal, but they're trying to find their teammates and to score. And Dominik Takac also saved us, but then we had a big chance. Robert Mag was running alone on the goal, on the goalie. The goalie saved it, and then also at the end, Dominik Takac saved some chances, and we went through. It was a really nice away game for me and for Jaro. Jaro is a guy from the Slovan podcast. Maybe you was on also with him in contact with him, because there are three guys. I would like to greet them because they are doing a great job with the Slovan podcast. My sme Slovan Bratislava. So, and they gave me the opportunity because they are not so good speaking English. So they asked me to substitute them. So I said, okay, no problem. I will take it. And I was in Cyprus. I was there with Jaro, and we were staying at the hotel in Nicosia. It was the only hotel with a pool, with a swimming pool. And you will not believe me, but the Slovan delegation and the Slovan squad was also at the hotel. So it was
everybody.
It was a perfect experience for me. The guys, the players and the coach were a little bit shocked. How is it possible that the fans of Slovan are here? And it was a coincidence because we were going there through a football travel agency called Football Tour, and it was really a coincidence. But we had a really good time, had good memories, and it was perfect experience for me, an adventure. And okay, against Midtjylland, we knew that it's a comparison of the, let's say, the old school of Vladimir Weiss, because he's I will not say that he's only the old school, but comparing the old methods or habits against the modern one, the statistics. But on the other hand, we also maybe you read it in the press, but I would say that it was not so true that we do not have any tactical coaches or statistics, and we do not take into consideration these things and stuff. But okay, they have a special coach for sleeping, special coach for throwing, special coach for everything. I would say for injury, for blah blah blah. But okay, they were really good. They were good, and it was also a big luck for us. But I think that we deserved it because we had chances also to win the match. It was I would say equalized. It was yes, I would say 50-50 for the going or the promoting to the next round. So for the league phase. So they were really good. They are good because they defeated Ferencváros. Ferencváros Budapest. It's our rival from Hungary, because we played with them in 1992. I would say they were big fights with the police, hooligans with the police, Hungarian fans with the police, and only one our fan was so had no fear to go to Budapest. And it was a picture His name is Daniel. I really forgot his surname. I'm sorry, but he had a picture in the press that he was alone in the away stands, only him and 200 police officers. But he had courage. He had courage to go
What a
there.
guy! What a guy!
So
Daniel, what a guy!
we faced against Ferencváros 3 years ago in 2012, 2022. We won in Budapest 2-1, but at home, unfortunately, we lost 4-1. And Vladimir Weiss Jr. he had a problem with his leg, and he wanted to play, but he was not able to continue, and then he was missing 2 or 3 months because he wanted to play, because he is so emotionally attracted. And yes, however, we can say that Vladimir Weiss, when he was a young player, he didn't play for Slovan, but he played for Inter Bratislava.
Right, okay.
So his father played for Petržalka and had a good relation with Ivan Kmotrik, the owner of Slovan and former owner of Petržalka, and he then changed and go to Slovan. So I would say that Vladimir Weiss, maybe we will build a statue in front of the stadium for both of the Weiss, for the younger one and for all the senior one, because yes, we can say that Vladimir Weiss is a pragmatic coach. He's not playing that we will win 6-1 or 6-2, but I can't say that he is only focused on the defense. It's not so like that. He's focused on a really strict defense, but if there is a chance for a counter attack, use it, go, and so on. Yeah. So that's the I would say that's our way how we play in the Europe with the Europe opponents. In the Slovak leagues, okay, the opponents they are parking a bus in the box, Mourinho bus.
Yeah,
so we have to fight. We have to be really to use a lot of energy. But what I can say to you, it's one amazing thing that Vladimir Weiss has a perfect staff. He's working with big professionals regarding the condition coaches and the physiotherapy and so on. Because as you see that our average age of the team or of the squad is about, I would say, 30 years or 29.8, but we are really good or really perfect regarding the physical condition. We are really perfect prepared, and that's thanks to Roman Schwantner. He's the best, I would say, the best expert on the conditional preparedness of the team, of the sport team.
That's brilliant, mate. Right, so we're kind of getting to the point where I start poking at you for predictions and stuff. So before we move on here, of course, Celtic have met Slovan once before in the 1963-64 Cup Winners' Cup quarter-finals. Celtic would win both legs 1-0 with goals from Bobby Murdoch in Glasgow and John Hughes in Bratislava, taking through to semi-finals. But that doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to ask you now, how do you see the tie going? How do you expect Slovan to set up on the night? Do you see them attacking? Do you see it more a counter-attack? Do you see them try to contain the ball? What do you think Slovak's strongest points are going into this game? But what do you think the weakest points are?
So as I mentioned, I would say that regarding all the 36 teams in the Champions League phase, I would say that we are the underdog. We are the most or the least not important, but the least able team that no one that anyone will bet on us to go or to be to be successful in the games. So you will be not say the seeded, but you will be we will have all the teams in our group, or not all, our group, we will face will have a much higher chances to win than we. So, and back to your question, okay, I'm praying. Let's say I'm praying for a tie match. So for us, 1 point, for getting 1 point from your field, from your stadium, it will be fantastic. It will be fantastic. I think that our coach will prepare the guys really good tactically. That we'll play from behind, because we can't open our defense and play just like, okay, we will see how it will look like on the pitch, because we are, as I mentioned, we are a little bit sensitive on the speed of the players, or how they are fast controlling the ball and so on, because our defenders, as you mentioned, Wimmer, about 30 years, Kasia, Kenan Bajric, we didn't mention, he's a Slovenian center back, now was nominated for the national team but didn't play, but he's a really good one. I would say that he's our fastest center back, comparing to Kasia and Wimmer. And on the other hand, it will depend on if Sharan Izuberu will be able to play, because he's as I mentioned, he's the fastest. He's our fastest guy, or the fast guy on the left, the decathlon guy, as you remember. So, but he was injured with his heel or with his foot or something like that. He had some problem. No, it was not. It was the. It was a leg problem, muscle problem, I would say, with the hamstring. Yeah, so he's a sensitive to this kind of problems with the hamstring. So and we don't know if we will play in 5 in the defense or with 4. It will depend if Sharan Izuberu will be able to play. If he is able to play, we can play 5. We can play, let's say, three men in the back with two wing backs going up and down, with 3 in the center, Juraj Kucka, Marko Tolic, and probably Vladimir Weiss. We will see. And on the top, probably, okay, so I don't know. We can play 4-2-3-1. We can play 5-4-1, and so it depends. We have a really it's a lot of combinations we can play. But I think that we'll take in, or we will keep or bear in our mind safety first. So it means that Celtic will push us. We'll have maybe a lot of chances, and we'll see. Because as I saw your squad, there are a lot of young players, talented players, but there's a perfect and experienced manager, Brendan Rodgers, and you are not defeated this season. You are playing. I think that you played 4 games in your league and 1 in the cup.
That's right.
If I'm wrong.
That's correct.
In the league, you didn't concede a goal. So you only scored a goal. You didn't. The opponent.
No, we conceded 1 goal.
1 goal. Okay, conceded 1 goal. Okay, but okay, it's you will be a really tough opponent for us, and everything depends on our ability to defense, and also on our goalie, I would say.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's absolutely perfect, mate. Right, before we finish up, I'm going to ask you, what is your hopes for the club this year in terms of the Champions League? Is it? I mean, you're saying you hope for a tie. We're Celtic, and every away game we're begging for a tie. I mean, we aren't. Well, I don't think we are so arrogant. like you guys, we need to win our home games. Home games, away games are a kind of bonus. Home games are where it's at. But I've seen my team trounced. I have seen my team concede 6-7 off, and it's not fun. So, what's your hope in the Champions League, and also what's your hope long term for Slovan? Do you hope that getting into the group every season, getting better and better?
Okay, it depends. When we compare other Slovak football teams, our owner, it's an oligarch.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, so he has a lot of money and is investing in the squad, in the team, in the club. But on the other hand, we can say, okay, somebody will take it not so positively, but the son of the owner, it's Ivan Kmotrik, the junior. He's the general manager, and sometimes he is not doing the correct decision, I would say.
Okay.
And if I would be the general manager and I will have Vladimir Weiss, the senior one, on the bench, I will give him all the freedom to do what he wants, to bring him the players he wants, because he knows how to play football and how to be successful. I would say that Vladimir Weiss is our most successful Slovakian coach in the history, because he was with the national team in the World Cup. He was taking part with the national team, and he was also coaching abroad. He was a former Georgian team manager, and he was the person who influenced the Georgian team and to make the big progress with the Georgian team.
Yeah.
So he's really experienced, and sometimes it comes to, let's say, not so fights, but the exchange of the arguments between the general manager and the coach, and it's not so sometimes positive for the team or for the fans, because you ask if it is possible to qualify the next year for the Champions League. It depends on many factors, because as you mentioned, we had to play from the first qualifying round. And our season ended, the last season ended in the half of May, and in the first week of July we have to play against our opponent in the first qualifying round. But if you compare it to the other European clubs and maybe to Celtic, it's really difficult, because you end the season, you have maybe 2 weeks for a holiday, and Juraj Kucka, he didn't have any day off, because he went for the European, for the Euros. So, but okay, he's able to play on a high level, still on a high level. And it's really...
See, be honest though, that's shit, isn't it? That's absolute shit that you guys, I mean, you don't get a proper break. You've lost some of your players.
Yeah, I would say that's really it's a disadvantage for us, because we can say that before 2 years we played together for the whole season 54 games, 54 matches.
Wow.
Manchester City, they won the Champions League title, I think, that season, and they played 61 matches. Okay, okay, but 54 matches, and the last season we played 52 matches. So it's really a tough situation, and I hope, from my point of view, I hope that we will be able at least to qualify for the playoff round of Champions League. Because when you go to the fourth round, you earn 4 million euros, and it's money. Because when we are talking about our budget, try to guess what's our budget for our team, for Slovan Bratislava, for the season.
I mean, as I say, I would guess he spent about what, 5-6 million odds. No?
No. It's about 20 or 18, maximum 20 million euros.
Oh, so sorry, you're talking about the squad. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the summer. My apologies. Yeah. Well,
and we were investing.
I would have guessed more. I would have guessed that, to be honest.
Yeah, because and you can compare with Celtic, you can compare with other team, and you can compare with the Czech teams, with Sparta Prague or with Slavia Prague. They have a foreign. Sparta has a Czech investor, but Slavia has a foreign investor, and they are investing twice much.
So with that in mind, I mean, this season is going to give you an investment to the club unbeknown to Slovan. I mean, it's going to be a shitload of money coming in. So do you expect next season to maybe, like you were talking about the guy at Ferencváros, that shouldn't be a problem next season, should it? It should be.
Well, okay. It depends on, as I mentioned, many factors. But I can say the money we will get from the UEFA, yes, for the attending the Champions League phase, or the league phase of the Champions League. I hope that we will invest in the club. We will invest in the marketing department, because Slovan has, I don't know, 3 or 4 people working on marketing. Comparing to Sparta, they have 13 or 20 people. So we have to invest the money. But on the other hand, I have to say, when there was a Corona crisis with the COVID, our owner had to collect the money from the group and from the group of companies. He is the owner, and to collect it and to invest, because there were also we have to pay some debts, because it was really a tough situation, because no fans were allowed to attend the games, so no business from the
course,
from the shops and so on. And that's why I can't, frankly speaking, I can't say how it will look like next season, but I hope that the owner will invest some money. He will in the winter he will bring some potential talented players, maybe an experience. But we were interested, for example, for getting Adrian Kapralik from MŠK Žilina. MŠK Žilina, they also play Champions League. The philosophy of the club was that they had experience. They had experienced players, but for 5 or 6 years they changed the philosophy. They are now growing the players. They are now getting the players from the small cities and villages. They have an academy, and they are preparing these players for the big football or for the world football. But when we would like to pay for this Adrian Kapralik, they insist, or they ask 2 million euros, and 2 million euros for a 22 or 22 years old talented guy from our league. It's not it. We can't afford to pay. We can afford to pay maybe 1 million for a foreign national player, talented from Bosnia, or from the Balkan teams or the Balkans. So, but it's not really it's not economically based to use or to invest 2 million euros for this kind of.
No, I totally understand. I mean, it's like the EPL teams. I remember, Michal, I spoke to a Leverkusen fan a few years back, and we were talking about his signings, and they signed a guy for the French league for 13 million. And the boy said to me, potentially he might be good, but it's not a lot of money. I was like, 13 million. Do you know? So, but Michael, that's excellent, mate. That is absolutely brilliant. You've answered everything I'm looking for. I'm well clued up now in Slovan in a way I wasn't before. Before we finish, are you on social media? Would you?
Yes, I would like to connect you. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I will write it down in the email. You can also give me maybe your cell phone number, because for WhatsApp, I don't know if you're using WhatsApp application, but I didn't tell you that I'm also planning to come to Glasgow next week. So we are coming with our fans. I can say that almost more than 500 fans will attend the match. I hope that the number will be much higher. And I would also ask you one question regarding the safety of the away fans in Glasgow. What's the situation? Do you have any hooligans, or Glasgow has any hooligans that they have problem with another teams visiting the?
With regards, you guys coming over, you'll have no problems whatsoever. Absolutely none. Generally, away fans in Scotland, should they come just to watch the football, no problems. Like Ajax come and they like fighting, so they'll get a fight. If they want a fight, they'll get a fight. But guys like yourself, just coming over, get a beer. You could go into Celtic bars and drink with Celtic fans, walk to the game with Celtic fans. You'll be fine all day.
Can we wear our
yes
scarves? Nobody will try to hunt us or something like that. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. In every city, you get bad people who are pricks. But in general, you could go to any bar, in any Celtic bar, and you will be fine. You will be absolutely fine. And people will buy you a beer. That's a fact. But we'll tie up once we're done here. But in general, so if you're on social media and people would like to follow you, have you got an address or something?
Yes, I will write you, or you can find me.
I'll copy it into the thing then. Okay.
Yes. It's okay. You can find me on Instagram, and then my nickname is Insomniac, just like Insomniac.
Yeah.
So, and on Facebook, I'm with my real name, Michal Nespala. You will see a picture of me suit in the suit with the Slovan Bratislava tie. It was from a meeting. I'm also going to the meeting because we have the auction. We have a donation. Slovan has a donation, and we have the auction of the jerseys. So we were licitating the money on the jersey. So I licitated a jersey of Spiridon Risvanis. Unfortunately, he left the club because he was not so good. So he has to leave the club. But according to my weight and to my height, I think that the jersey will be for me the best, because he was tall, 1 meter 90 centimeters, just like that. So because all the other players, they have the size S, small or medium, not L or extra large. So that's why. And I'm going also on Friday, tomorrow, I'm going to Celtic because we have a ceremony. The players will come, will sign the jersey, will give to us. So I can send you some pictures on WhatsApp, no problem. We can stay in touch. And I would like to say in conclusion, when you were asking about what we expect from the Champions League, each point we get in Champions League will be a big win for us, and we will be a big memory, I would say. And we hope that we will be able to defeat at least Dinamo Zagreb and to get at least one win in home matches, because against Man City, no chance. Against AC Milan, little small chances. Dinamo Zagreb, okay, and Stuttgart, they're finished second, I would say, behind Leverkusen. So a tough opponent, but we will see.
Well, Michal Nespala, thank you very much for taking your time and speaking to me. It's been my pleasure. It's been absolutely brilliant. I hope you have a fantastic season apart from next Wednesday, where I hope your team gets beat. However, I wish you nothing but success in the league and your future Champions League games. And hopefully we get to speak soon. And maybe we'll meet up for a beer next week.
Thank you very much. I will definitely get in contact with you and hopefully we will see.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Do boja, nieradny z jastradmi chwytać sa za pasy. Krali vždy boli sme, krali aj budeme. Krali vždy boli sme, krali aj budeme. Jasný blesk z oblohy dvíha nás na nohy. Nikto nás nezlomí, tak je nám súdené. Tribúna zaučí, v kotli to búráca. Tribúna zaučí, kotli do búráca. Srdcia sa rozhoria, nebesa otvoria, nech žiaden belasí na síle nestráca. Mocný klub storočný navždy je oslava. Mocný klub storočný navždy je oslava. Stojíme junáci, dievčatá po spolu, voláme do neba, Slovan Bratislava. Stojíme junáci, dievčatá po spolu,